Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Simpsons moments that left us speechless.
What are you saying?
For this list, we'll be looking at the most moving, shocking, or all-around unexpected moments on this long-running animated sitcom. Since our picks capture key episode plot points, beware of spoilers ahead. If you are able to speak up now, tell us which Simpsons moments you found most stunning in the comments. Number 10. Fox leaves Homer on a cliffhanger. To pride itself on providing entertainment without commercial interruption, PBS has a lot of interruptions to request donations.
If you like great PBS programs like Do Shut Up and Shut Your Gob, you'll want to support our pledge drive.
Pledge drive? Ugh.
That's right, Betty White.
Absolutely. If you watch even 1 second of PBS and don't contribute, you're a thief.
To get out of fulfilling a $10,000 pledge, Homer flees to another continent as a missionary. What ensues is such mad mischief that it doesn't look like Homer can make it out of a chapel bell tower collapsing into lava. Well, he doesn't. The episode ends with representatives of Fox interrupting the scene with their own pledge drive.
Oh, that Homer, always getting into trouble. And if you're one of the millions who enjoys his adventures, or should I say misadventures, it's time to show your support.
Homer's fate is left unresolved for a spoof of both PBS's panhandling and Fox's corporate greed. Bart may ultimately save the network with a generous donation, but audiences were stupefied by Homer going unsaved.
Hello, Murdoch here. $10,000? You've saved my network!
Wouldn't be the first time.
Thankfully, he can apparently survive any catastrophe as long as Fox's demands are met. Number 9. Homer's last day. After eating improperly prepared and venomous fugu, Homer spends what could be his last day alive with loved ones.
If, in fact, you've consumed the venom of the blowfish, and from what the chef has told me, it's quite probable, you have 24 hours to live.
24 hours?
Well, 22. I'm sorry I kept you waiting so long.
Oh, Marge, I'm gonna die.
It's safe to assume that even when this episode premiered during the second of the show's dozens of seasons, audiences were confident in Homer's survival. However, it's hard to not be stunned to silence when Homer slumps over while watching the sunrise. When he and Marge realize he'll be all right, you feel relieved with them. This uplifting payoff shows how The Simpsons can stick even the most predictable of emotional landings.
You're alive!
All right, stop it. Cut it
Wake
out.
up! You're alive! You're alive!
What are you talking about?
You're alive!
I'm alive! I'm alive! And I couldn't be happier!
Homer's vow to live each day to the fullest rounds out this life-affirming story, at least until he goes back to watching TV and snacking. Number 8. The Problem with Apu. In the 2017 documentary The Problem with Apu, comedian Hari Kondabolu explored Apu Nahasapima Petalon's unfortunate history as an Indian character who leaned on stereotypes.
But that's not why people liked him. They just liked his accent. I never heard anyone say they liked Apu because he exposed the idiocy and bigotry of Americans and the struggles of the average immigrant.
The Simpsons responded with an episode in which Marge realizes a storybook from her childhood is racially insensitive. She and Lisa break the fourth wall to contemplate that while characters like Apu can be important at one time, they can become offensive years later.
Something that started decades ago and was applauded and inoffensive is now politically incorrect. What can you do?
Some things will be dealt with at a later date.
If at all.
Unfortunately, audiences felt that this attempt to absolve the show of its own insensitivity just supported Kondabolo's criticism of its tone deafness. The scene ironically caused even more backlash, with Apu's stereotypical portrayal making it hard to recast him. The speaking part was retired after 3 decades of service.
You know what, Apu? I am really gonna miss you.
Number 7. Homer undoes the apocalypse. It seems the only judgment Homer has to face on the supposed date of the rapture is from his friends.
Hey, Nostra, dumbass. Did the rapture come? I can't recall. Oh, in fact, I can recall, and it didn't, and you suck.
Hey, Fat Wad, here Here's another thing you didn't predict.
But after adjusting his predictions, he's lifted to heaven while his loved ones are left to face Armageddon. As if this wasn't jaw-dropping enough, the remorseful Homer is able to convince God to undo the rapture and return him to Earth.
Just send me back to Earth and put off this whole rapture hoop-de-doo for another couple of years or so.
But it's already started. To do what you're asking, I'd have to turn back time.
Superman did it!
Fine, Mr. Smarty Pants.
The convenient spell was even dubbed Deus Ex Machina. Some viewers found Homer accurately predicting, then ending the apocalypse to be a sacrilegious cop-out. Others admired this extreme tribute to Homer's devotion to his family.
Dad, we've been so worried about you.
The Warren Harding through hole never seemed so long.
Yeah, I missed you guys too.
Either way, this unlikely prophet turning out to be the actual savior of humanity was one of the most unexpected Simpsons moments of the 2000s.
This is heaven.
Number 6. Maude Flanders Dies. After almost a decade of voicing Ned Flanders' mild-mannered wife, Maude, Maggie Roswell left the recurring cast of The Simpsons over a pay dispute.
Who's up for a big bowl of non-fat ice milk?
I want wintergreen! Unflavored for me.
Maude was then written out of the show with a fatal t-shirt cannon accident at a motor speedway. This marked one of the most drastic and disturbing twists in Simpsons canon. That's canon with one N. From there, the widowed Ned went on to have a complicated arc as a single father who eventually marries Edna Krabappel.
Little party might be fun. The only guests at our wedding were Ned's parents.
Look at those squares making it nice and legal. We didn't need a piece of paper.
But she herself passed away after her actress, Marcia Wallace, died. Along the way, Roswell has reprised Maude in flashbacks and other assorted cameos.
Maude, you still look as pretty as the day I buried you.
Oh.
Are you ready for tales that will shatter your spine and boil your blood?
Well, duh.
Even so, viewers and the Flanders family are still reeling from the shock of how she was killed off as a series regular. Number 5. Do It For Her. The Simpsons has a history of moving us with episodes about the family's history, and Maggie Makes 3 is a classic that might take the cake.
Why aren't there any pictures of Maggie?
Well, I'm glad you asked. It's actually a very interesting story.
After it was discovered that there are no photos of Maggie in the Simpsons photo albums, Homer has serious explaining to do. He goes into a long-winded story about how he left his dream job at a bowling alley to provide for 3 kids.
I needed more money to support my growing family. And there was only one place in town that a man like me could make it.
As it turns out, Maggie's photos are posted around her father's station at the nuclear power plant to alter a "Don't Forget You're Here Forever" plaque to read "Do It For Her."
Oh, there are pictures. I keep them where I need the most cheering up.
This poignant reminder of Homer's love for his children is sure to leave you without words and sobbing. Number 4. A Farewell to Mona. Much of Homer's hilarious dysfunction can be linked to abandonment issues with his fugitive activist mother.
I put Homer to bed, Abe, and now I'm going out. It could be a late night. I'm meeting my destiny.
So long!
Yet it's always a somber occasion when he reunites with Mona, voiced by Glenn Close and introduced in the season 7's Mother Simpson. With the law bearing down, Mona has to go back on the run, but she and her son finally share a proper goodbye.
At least this time I'm awake for your goodbye.
Oh, Homer. Remember, whatever happens, you have a mother, and she's truly proud of you.
This was by no means the last we've seen of Mona, whose occasional returns and ultimate death have been behind some of the most dramatic moments in the show's history. But few moments are as beautifully perfect as Homer first wishing his mother farewell. As he spends the night staring at the stars, the sense of longing and closure goes beyond words. Number 3. The Death of Frank Grimes. Homer's shenanigans are all fun and games until somebody gets hurt. That is, somebody other than Homer himself. His incompetence and dumb luck generally go ignored until the nuclear plant employs the hard-working, hard-living Frank Grimes.
I've had to work hard every day of my life, and what do I have to show for it? This briefcase and this haircut. And what do you have to show for your lifetime of sloth and ignorance?
What?
Everything!
The poor man's outrage at Homer's unjust success culminates in a mental breakdown at work. As Grimes thoughtlessly grabs high-voltage wires, he is electrocuted to death.
What's this? Extremely high voltage. Well, I don't need safety gloves because I'm Homer Simpson.
Audiences were themselves shocked by this incredibly dark turn. Of course, it was an appropriate way to resolve a reckoning with the depressing reality of our favorite sitcom idiot living the American dream.
And even though Frank's agonizing struggle through life was tragically cut short, I am sure he's looking down from heaven right now.
Frank Grimes leaves behind a legacy as one of the most baffling tragedies and voices of reason on The Simpsons. Still, he hasn't stopped Homer's fans and friends from laughing. Number 2. Maggie Shot Mr. Burns. TV cliffhangers that rock the world don't come around often. No one expected The Simpsons to deliver one of the most suspenseful pop culture events of 1995.
Well, I couldn't possibly solve this mystery. Can you?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I mean, it's my job, right?
Additionally, they certainly didn't expect to discover that it was Maggie Simpson who was behind Mr. Burns' near-fatal gunshot.
The one who shot me was... Maggie Simpson!
The twist that the old man's own pistol went off while he was trying to steal candy from a baby baffled viewers, to say the least. But this reveal has become celebrated as one of TV's hottest water cooler moments of the 90s. The suggestion that the shooting was no accident was also a watershed moment in Maggie's darker characterization.
Even Maggie has that baby with the one eyebrow.
While she may never be as evil as Mr. Burns, she's hardly as harmless as she looks.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Armin Tamzarian. One of the most bizarre Simpsons twists came in Season 9's The Principal and the Pauper. In this episode, it's revealed that Seymour Skinner is an imposter named Armin Tamzarian.
I'm an imposter. That man is the real Seymour Skinner.
This crook-turned-soldier stole his missing sergeant's identity to turn his life around. But the real Skinner's return throws Springfield into disarray.
You all seem to be forgetting that I am Seymour Skinner. This is where I belong. You can't ask me to disappear just because you like some other guy better. I gave half my life for you people. Aren't I entitled to a little dignity?
Although everything ends up normal, partially thanks to an ordinance forbidding Springfielders from mentioning Tamzarian, Skinner was never the same for fans.
I hereby confer upon you the name of Seymour Skinner, as well as his past, present, future, and mother.
No game?
And I further decree that everything will be just like it was before all this happened, and no one will ever mention it again.
Both fans and show staff members felt this was an absurd shark jump from which the show never recovered. Others now praise the episode for satirizing sitcom storytelling and TV canon. Love him or hate him, Armin Tamzarian remains the biggest and most jaw-dropping controversy The Simpsons has ever had.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.